Welcome back to FOF's Mythic League playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Ace turning a draft difference into a major win for themselves as they lead the series 2-0. A-Click is taking blue side in game 3, where OOD is taking the red side. I'm in for a nice quick, not a quick game, but a nice game 3 here, seeing if OOD can bring it back to make it a game 5 reverse sweep, or if Team A-Click are ready to end it all. Once again, my name is Whirler, and once again, we have Asim with us.
I don't see a Fiddlesticks ban, and I'm already upset. I am very concerned now. I think Ace is actually in a position where they're pretty comfortably able to be one Fiddlesticks if they really want to, because the Toximus jungle pool doesn't really have anything that punishes it super hard. And I guess we'll see what they opt for. I don't imagine that Udyr has many answers for that pick, though, because it's just so good right now, and the kind of style they want to play in the game generally is pretty weak into the pick.
Definitely so, and looks like they're going with the tried and true Corki of this series, Vambian getting it for a third time in a row.
I think Udyr should just go back to what they tried in game 1, honestly. I think the Vladimir was a perfectly good lane answer to it and just outscaled. So if they pick up Vladimir here for Big Twig and then maybe something like a flex pick for support, or maybe jungle, then I'd be perfectly happy with that. I just don't want to see them going back to anything where they can get punished if they sort of force a team fight comp and they just take Fiddlesticks on 3.
Definitely so. We got 5 seconds on this pick to see what Udyr responds to this with. They got a double pick, and looks like your dreams are coming true. We're getting the Vladimir Corki lane just like in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty good for them in game number 1. Remember, Big Twig was ahead in CS, and he ended up actually, I feel like, having a bigger impact for his team than the Corki was able to, but unfortunately his team was kind of falling apart around him in that game, so we'll see if things can go a little bit differently this game. Obviously, I think game 1 was a bit of an anomaly in the sense that the top lane matchup was really volatile, and Bob Jones kind of chain died over and over in that top lane, giving a huge advantage over to Burst Limit. And even though he's able to come back into the game, getting out some of those shutdowns, you really can't account for that. And this is something I'm excited for, because
if they draft the same comp,
well, you mentioned in game 1 that they wanted to pick the Blitzcrank, but he couldn't because it was banned out in the second rotation. But it is a really good answer to the Tahm Kench. And if they expect that coming in for Vesper, being one of the champions he's played the most of, it might be the only champion he's played as far as I'm aware, actually, aside from in that last game. And then, like, I really like picking the Blitzcrank early if they really kind of think they have a handle on Vesper's champion pool. Antunes is crazy good on it, and we'll see what they answer with.
That's a nice pick. If you like to see So Sad Sam on a nice, good champion, let's see if they combo it with the Karma. It's open. How do you feel about this against Blitzcrank?
It's all right. So Ezreal can buff for E on the hook, which is always really nice. I don't mind the Ezreal into Blitz. The question is what they pick up for support now. And the Blitz can go really easily paired with something super aggressive in the bot lane. Or it can just play kind of be a standard, just, farm it out the bot lane, play with the safe ADC, and then you can look at the picks in the mid game. And Blitz is just such a game warping pick if you hit hooks in general, that I think it's really an avenue for you to win a game like this, because that, regardless of what I don't like the Leona pick with Ezreal, by the way, but I mean, even if it's something scarier than that, Antu just has to hit a couple good hooks in the mid game on these priority targets like the Corki, and it becomes super, super easy for Vladimir to just clean up on that. So we'll see what they choose to pair him with in the bot lane. They should just take AD on 3 here because they've already shown the Ezreal, and I don't think they're going to flex the Ezreal mid because Vambian doesn't really play it, so there's no risk of getting counterpicked in the bot lane if you take AD here.
I feel like alternatively they should have picked support in the second part of the draft rather than the first part of the draft, because if we're revealing the Leona kind of makes it a little too easy for the bot lane at this point, and wow, that's a Ziggs bot.
I remember this one. So they played Ziggs Blitzcrank bot in their last playoff smash against HBK, and they won that game with the Ziggs for Photograph. Photograph, well, in fact, used to be a Ziggs one trick back in the old days. So I'm pretty excited to see this come out again. I was a really big fan of the Ziggs, and although the Ziggs Blitz lane is a little strange, I chose to play it last time. It was kind of questionable in the lane specifically. It is really good comfort picks for both these players, and Ziggs in general is just really insane right now, I think. It offers a lot of things in the game, both outranging a lot of these champions, even though that Ezreal and Corki nominally have range advantages in a lot of situations, and offering that insane siege potential, really, where you just win a team fight, you can lose 3 towers suddenly, just all over the place.
Absolutely.
And I'm a big fan of it, and I think the reason they chose Blitzcrank on the early pick is because they didn't want to get Blitz Thresh banned on 4-5 and have Antunes forced off these hook supports. So they chose it here. I wouldn't mind seeing some more AD, though, from Udyr. Now that they picked that Ziggs for the bot lane and the Vladimir for the mid lane, I think they do need an AD top and an AD jungler at this point if they really want to have a reasonable damage spread, or else they can just itemize pure MR.
And being that they've already banned out the Kaisa for Team A-Click, I'm not too sure about that ban.
They don't know.
keen on why. They don't know that it's Zig's bot. I wouldn't imagine where this Ziggs would go.
I think
It's either Vlad or Zig's bot, and there's only one Vlad player on their team.
They think that I think what they think is happening is that Big Twig is going to lane swap to top lane, and Bob Jones is playing Ziggs mid.
That is a call out and a half, but they're banning the Scion, which kind of defeats that theory.
I mean, Scion's a ban for Bob Jones, so maybe they recognize that it could go bot or it could go top, or like the Vlad. I don't know what they're thinking. I guess they don't really know, so they're just banning for both lanes and hoping they guess right on one of them. So
okay.
I don't understand the Kai'Sa ban. I think Kai'Sa's really bad right now, and she's not even good into Ezreal, even though she should be in theory. So, I mean, it's a little bizarre. I understand the Scion ban, though. Bob Jones has been playing a lot of it. Looks pretty good on the champion, and the Fiddlesticks ban did come through in the second round, so you no longer have to worry about that in the team fights. We'll see what they end up picking on this R5 pick. That is Lee Sin now picked up. I think that's for Soximus, and Soximus hasn't played a ton of this season, but used to be one of the most feared Lee Sin players in this league, so we'll see if he's able to bring it back.
Now we can't rule out the Lee Sin top just yet. It's very prominent here over in North America, and I'm not too sure exactly which one it's going to be because it is both picks. It is going to be responded to with the Kindred for here, Sword Blue.
I don't really like this. I think so. There's a couple of things here happening. One is that Django's not in the roster, so Soximus is really the Lee Sin player on the team right now. So I really expect it to be Lee Sin in the jungle. And at the same time, Lee Sin into Kindred is very favorable for Lee Sin because you can pick Kindred out of her own ultimate and deny her from staying alive inside that circle where she can't die. So if that is in the jungle, it makes these skirmishes really difficult for the team for Ace. And I hope that they can find some value with that kind of countering on the Kindred ult.
Definitely so. Volibear is going to be picked up as their last pick for Team A-Click. Burst Limit's going to be taken this time around.
Oh dear, come on. Okay. I don't like this. R5 power into Volibear, I don't understand. I mean, look, I want to believe in this draft because they have the Vladimir, they have the Ziggs, and they have the Lee Sin for Soximus, which is a comfort pick for him that I feel like matches up well with the Kindred. But at the same time, I think Nar is really useless here. He doesn't really have much to do in this lane against the Volibear. And on top of that, he just can't really do a ton in these team fights. Getting onto the Ezreal and Corki is going to be really hard. Kindred cancels out a lot of what he wants to do, and I think it's just kind of a bad pick here. But the rest of their team looks reasonably solid, and I trust Soximus on the Lee Sin enough that I think he'll be able to get an early lead against Sword Blue if he does well on it. So we'll have to see if that happens, because if it doesn't, things get really scary for Udyr with the Kindred, Ezreal, and Corki scaling into the game.
Definitely so. And that is going to be the draft for that. Is it going to be a 3-0 from Team A-Click, or is Team Udyr going to turn it on and bring up the reverse sweep? We're excited to see what's happening here as we have a double 5-man invade. We got a Scooby-Doo moment coming on here, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to find not one soul in each of these jungles, and it is going to be funny. Go ahead and enjoy this show. We got a cartoon going on here.
I think this is going to turn into a 5v5. They're going to realize that they're not their blue, and they're going to notice that they're invading, and so they might actually walk back into them. But I think it's possible they reset in time if they actually decide not to opt for it. And I guess they recognize their level 1's probably not as strong as Udyr's, so they don't want to be caught there, and they all recall. This doesn't mean that Udyr will manage to save their blue buff, and I think that there's actually a chance they could have stayed for the red and just continued camping there, but recognizing the fact that no one was there, maybe they were concerned about getting counter-invaded.
Definitely so. That's quite a way to start off the game. I love to see it. That was entertaining to watch. Blue team does all recall and get back to lane on time, whereas red team cut their losses, didn't have to recall, and just made their merry way back. Both bot starts on each side. They're going to be ideally pathing upwards. It's going to be a top side focused game. Bot lane with Ezreal and Leona and Ziggs and Blitzcrank, not too much is going to be happening anyway, unless one of them lands a Zenith Blade / hook.
Yeah, so from Udyr, the thing is that Soximus and Bob Jones really need to get ahead in this game, or else Ace is just going to start stacking armor against them, or stacking MR against them, I mean.
The call-out hook's already beginning.
Yeah, they have no real AD threats here aside from kind of Soximus, and unless Lee Sin's ahead, he's not going to be a meaningful threat in the later parts of the game, so it's very easy to just stack MR on the Volibear. Even on the Corki and the Ezreal, you could just pick up a Hex Drinker or something, or even a QSS, and the game's pretty easy to itemize for them. So I think Udyr really need to find those leads for their champions, or else they're going to have a very difficult time in the later stages of the game.
Definitely so. It looks pretty good so far for either side. Not a lot of trades going on too much. A couple poke trades coming in for the mid lane. Vambient taking to a quarter, but Big Twig taking about a half. Antunes getting a little bit of damage here in the bot lane. Zenith Blade onto Ezreal. This is going to start something. Exhaust onto So Sad Sam, but Photograph might have to bust out the flash here, and he's going to get responded to with So Sad Sam's flash. He's going to get taken down for first blood on the Ezreal, but Antunes is going to respond to that one real quick, and Vesper going for the 1v1 up in the top lane. While on the other side, Soximus in his own red buff getting jumped on by Vambient and Sword Blue, and that's going to force a flash out of the Lee Sin very early. So much going on already.
Ultimately, this is in Udyr's favor, though. Even though the first blood ends up going over to So Sad Sam and the kill goes over to the Blitzcrank, the wave's in a really good position for them bot lane. So Sad Sam ends up probably losing the entire wave here as this wave finally crashes onto turret, and Photograph loses basically nothing. So you should expect a pretty large CS lead for the Sigs now, and Vesper might even be caught here because Soximus is on the bot side of the map.
Definitely so. Flash coming out from Vesper. He's still alive, and he's getting out alive on that one. So Sad Sam is here to punish him for that one. He's a little bit too far up already. The Q going out, it's going to go wide. He had to E out of that one. No flash. Antunes is walking up looking for the hook. He has an angle if this minion would get out of the way, but Photograph's taken very low once again already. TP coming out from the top lane. It's actually going to be Corky's TP. Soximus is going to go and pick up Vesper, but Vambient and So Sad Sam will pick up the Lee Sin in return. Vambient once more. He's now in a 1v1 with Big Twig. Antunes is running away for his life, and they're going to be getting out of that one unscathed, but it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade once again in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's another even trade. The kill is going over to So Sad Sam, and unfortunately, Photograph isn't able to pick up anything there, but again, it's sort of even, and I think that even though Udyr's basically even on gold here, they're pretty happy with this because that despite the kills going over to So Sad Sam, the CS lead acquired from that wave coming into Photograph is pretty substantial. Sam has to recall again, and Photograph gets the crash here, gets another reset off for completely free. So even though Sam is actually sort of ahead based on those kills, he won't be ahead on itemization here anymore. And that means that Photograph just gets to continue playing this lane, continue playing the shove in. Vesper down to the Hex Flash makes it a lot harder to look for those snap engages onto the Ziggs, and it makes it a lot easier for Ziggs to just pressure you onto your tower for the plates.
A lot of on my way pings coming out here in the jungle as Antunes barely is able to get Soximus out of that one with the W, but he's getting collapsed on by 3. Sword Blue wants this Gromp, but it's going to get pulled over to the wall, and it's going to be a strap for time here. Soximus isn't going to get that. Sword Blue is going to get it with the Smite. Leona with the engage on Photograph. Photograph's going to have to Sapphire Charge out of that one. Soximus off to the side looking for another re-engage. So Sad Sam going to E forward, get some damage onto him. Bob Jones jumping behind the Volibear. Going to miss the Q. Going to get a good trade onto him, though, but the shield from Burst Limit's going to make it go the other way as Bob Jones is now in a sticky situation. Even a level up. It's so weird how that worked, but Bob Jones does have the movement speed buff from turning back into Mini. He's forced to flash out of that one as Burst Limit goes for the stun. Oh my goodness, So Sad Sam goes for the E forward onto Photograph. Doesn't quite get anything. Antunes hook probably on cooldown. They get a free dragon for themselves, and that's an Infernal to start it all off.
I don't know what's going on in this game. It's just,
whoa! Oh, no! Vesper hit by the hook and taken by the rat.
Well, that's a nice pickup for Udyr there, and Bob Jones probably going to bait Burst Limit here. I think Burst Limit's just going to die now.
Yes, he is indeed. Soximus picking up a nice kill for himself. He's got some gold in his pocket and a shutdown to go with it.
And this is what we wanted from Udyr, right? Soximus is ahead now. He has that lead in the jungle. He's actually been a meaningful threat for a while now. And
good knock up from Antunes. Even with the buffer, he gets the hook to respond to it, and he's going to go down.
This is why you can't give Antunes Blitzcrank. I don't know. I mean, Ace just disrespected him here. And that's probably a solo kill mid lane, yep.
Wow. What is happening? I like what I'm seeing, but I don't like what I'm seeing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what's happening in this game is Ace is just like kind of being really disrespectful with the way they drafted. And even though in game 1 they were able to beat the Vladimir, I don't think that really meant they should have given it over again. And despite the fact that Udyr opted not to go for it in this game, giving Antunes Blitzcrank, giving Big Twig Vladimir, it's just like, I don't know what they're thinking. These are like literally their best champions, and you can see it here. It's just such a massive difference.
Definitely so. Antunes already getting the roam going on. Moby Boots, Blitzcrank, you know the deal. He's going to the top lane, see if he can make something happen. Could go mid too. Either is on the table.
Yeah, and Ziggs being ahead in this bot lane is also really scary because it means the Ezreal, unless they're able to get that engage from Leona onto the Ziggs, is just going to get pushed in over and over, continue losing turret plates, and eventually lose their bot turret.
Gnar into the wall. It's going to stun him up. Burst Limit's in a sticky situation with Antunes coming up here, but the Unstoppable used a little early from Burst Limit to give him that extra HP. Bob Joan is in the kiting in the back, and he's going to get hooked right back off to that side. Antunes going to get bursted, but it's not going to matter. Burst Limit does get the shield, but how long will it save him? Bob Joan jumping on him for the disrespect, and he's going to go down.
Yeah, Burst Limit making it a little bit close, but still really good for Udyr, getting that top side ahead as well. And now they have 3 winning lanes and winning jungle, so I really just want to see how well they can snowball this lead now, because they need to make sure that they get something with this while Lee Sin is still relevant and before his damage starts falling off.
Definitely so. 2-7 so far, respectively, here on Summoner's Rift. We got a nice lead coming on for Ziggs, even in kills, but 20 CS up in farms. Similarly, in the mid lane, Vlad's a kill up as well as 20 CS. You love to see it for him. And Lee Sin, behind in CS, but evening it out with kills. Flash hook from Blitzcrank. Gonna go wide on So Sad Sam. He's gonna say, see you later on that one. Still taking some major poke from Photograph.
Yeah, I mean, Photograph does such insane damage right now. We saw like 1Q did like half of Sad Sam's HP, and this was going to happen in the spot lane. They can't really have kill pressure on them anymore. Sad Sam is too low, and they're just going to keep pushing these waves, keep looking for those turret plates, the satchel charges, and I don't even think they're going to be able to trade on the top side of the map very effectively because Big Twig is so strong.
No, sir, indeed. They're fighting for it, though. It's going to be stolen by Vladimir. They're going to take it for themselves. Are they going to be able to get it in time? Corki's going to go down, and Burst Limit's going to have to flash out again. He's going to live, though, it looks as if, and they're going to get the Rift Herald for themselves. Very well played from Big Twig. Where did Burst Limit go?
Left.
Where did he go? ISP diff. Uh-oh, you hate to see it for him.
Is that ISP diff, or is that just like Burst Limit's done with this game? Because if I were Burst Limit, I'd be done with this game.
They are in a sticky situation right here, ladies and gentlemen, as they're going to immediately pop it into the mid lane. Corki and Kindred in the bot lane. There's no answer for this mid tower. That's a lot of plates that could be going in their direction. That's a lot of gold.
This could be like an 18-minute game if Udyr just continues snowballing this lead. They're getting so many plates in both lanes. Ziggs can do so much damage on these towers early on, and meanwhile, on the top side, we didn't really get to talk about it much because the Burst Limit immediately DC'd, but Soxmas got a really nice flash kick in that fight to really ensure that they got all of the members caught up there before that Rift Herald fight. That is the turret going over for the Ziggs from the Satchel Charge, and you can see how much damage does these turrets. They're going to keep pushing, and I mean, Burst Limit's actually just AFK, I think, so this is just looking like a 15-minute end.
Definitely so. They're not leaving the base at all.
Oh,
everyone has left the game.
I think they're FFing.
What happened here? This one's a little bit confusing. They did not want to play this one out. I couldn't imagine being 2-0 in a series and just giving up at game number 3.
I mean, I think so. I should mention maybe there might be some behind-the-scenes stuff going on with Burst Limit having to leave in the middle of this game, but even with that said, this game was pretty over from the position they were in all around the map, and we already saw it. The bot lane was so far ahead, mid was really far ahead, top lane they even got that kill, and after Sox was able to make that fight around Rift Herald happen, they just blew the game wide open. I don't think Ace should have been able to come back into this game, even if they might have ended up doing it in the end, just outplaying them. And Udyr is just going to take the free win. I mean, they're going to literally push down. This is a 10-minute game. I don't know if this counts, but this is actually the fastest game of FOF the entire season by a large margin.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching us casting a quick game of Challenger solo queue.
It's 11 minutes. How fast? Come on. At least try to set the record. Okay.
And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Team Udyr taking game 3 by a wash.
11.
The first of its kind. Literally. The first of its kind here at FOF.
That's like, oh my god, I can't believe what we just saw. That's something. And I hope that Ace isn't allowed to get away with this one. Udyr better reverse sweep them at this point.
Definitely so. I have no idea what in the heck just happened, but that's going to be game number 3 going over to Team Udyr. We'll keep you updated on what the situation is going on and what exactly happened / what will be going on presently and in the future. You guys stay tight. We will be right back after a quick intermission, and we will see you very soon.